couple of key highlights from your entire sales process that's going to help you separate yourself from the competition and really make you stand out. Now, you have to understand that when we're dealing with educated customers today, we really want to make sure that we're always on the same page as they are. We want to make sure that we're creating equal playing levels, but more importantly, that you're always presenting value in yourself. And it's really important that our prospects today clearly see a professional every time they have an encounter with you, whether it be on the phone call, whether it be on an email, whether it be on a voicemail. Today we're just going to pull out two of these critical components, the phone calls and the emails, and we're going to talk about areas that are going to help you distinguish yourself from the competition, because the fact of the matter is if you're in a competitive market, which is every market, the difference is it might be 3 customers they're shopping versus 9, 10, maybe 20 customers are shopping. You've really got to make sure that your emails, your presentation, everything that you're doing is just rock solid, and that the prospects see you as the most promising source to do business with. So I'm going to pull out 7 areas to distinguish yourself, and if you want to hit the next slide, we'll get to number 1. So the first one, templates. It's really easy to use email templates, right? You're going to definitely want to have your notepad out right now before we go through some of these steps. You're going to want to jot some notes down, and let me just give you a little couple tips here before I get into number 1. But you want to take notes. You want to put some key highlights. If you hear me use a phrase or you hear me use a question or any type of an approach that sounds good to you, that you're thinking, I should try that, you got to write it down right now. Because if you don't write it down, frankly, even though this is a 30-minute call, you won't remember it. So I want you to remember everything. I want you to get the most out of this call, and taking notes is the first part. So getting away from obvious email templates for follow-up. I can't tell you how many times I've shopped dealerships, and I continue to shop dealerships. Even before I go into a client's shop, I take a look and see what they're sending out. It's very easy to have automated emails go out, and it's obviously there for a reason. It's to make your jobs a little bit more convenient. The problem is that if everybody out there, all the dealerships, are sending out canned, automated email responses, they're not personal. So how can you distinguish yourself? Use more personalized email templates. And I know that sounds really simple, really easy, but you can use email templates. I love email templates. I promote email templates, but you've got to make changes to those templates. The last thing you want is for a blanket email that doesn't have anything to do with this customer sent out to them. So, like, for example, I'll see in dealerships they'll send out canned emails, and they'll have the incentives and rebates for the month. But they should really only be specific to that prospect's interest, meaning the specific vehicle. So if say you're a Kia dealership, and this prospect had originally sent you in an email request on a Kia Sedona, they don't really need to see the incentives and rebates for all the other vehicles, do they? So think about how you can personalize and customize this email template to make sure that it's directed towards this person's specific interests. Email templates are great. They put a foundation together. It helps you look more grammatically correct. It just makes your life a little more convenient, but you should, at a minimum, make a first change in the first sentence of every email template that you use. Make a personal change to that first sentence. So you want to get away from the obvious emails, do more personalized emails, so it makes it look like you really spoke to that person. And another tip in that first email that you're sending out to people is not only changing that first line, but you're going to even want to, in step 2, recap the conversation. I'm going to give you a couple pointers in some of the emails that you send back to people. So point number 2 here, after every single conversation that you have with a prospect, every single conversation, don't just log it in your CRM. You've got to send an email to this person. This is what will help distinguish you amongst the competition. So let's just say you got an internet prospect today, and you speak to them on the phone, you spend 10 minutes with them. You've got a lot of information that you've acquired in 10 minutes. You know what's hot to them as far as the vehicle equipment. You know what's a deal breaker. You know what options they're looking for. they're looking at several different vehicles. You know what part of town they're calling from or what part of town they're in. You know where they work, if they're using this vehicle for work, or if this is more for a family. You have an idea how many family members they have. You have some general idea about who this person is. And hopefully you've done your part in making sure that you've established some type of a relationship, a lot of rapport with this person. But the idea is in this call is to make a friend, find common ground, common interests. It's really important that you obtain at least 3 things about this customer that you can use in this email to recap your conversation. So if I found out they just had a baby, they need a bigger car because they need another car seat in the back seat, so space is kind of important to them. They're looking for the DVD entertainment package for the kids. In that email back to the customer, again, this is what's going to distinguish you. Very small area, big area as far as character selling in this email. Got to let people know that they're dealing with a professional. So in this first email, I'm going to kind of reference back to point number 1. In that first sentence, I might say, thank you so much for spending 10 minutes with me on the phone today. I understand that you have a growing family. You have 2 car seats now you need to put in the back seat. I know the DVD entertainment package is most important to you. I did take several notes, and I stored those in my CRM. Now, I don't really care if you have a template, but suddenly, doesn't this person feel like a person instead of customer number 197045? And that's what I'm talking about. So that's point number 2. After every conversation, send an email to recap the conversation. And frankly, if that customer calls you back, right, because you left this awesome voicemail, and they're calling you back, you still have to log that call in the CRM, but you need to recap that conversation and send them a thank you email for returning your call. This is a personalized business today. We're in the 21st century, and you got to do things that are custom and personal. So let's get into point 3. After every single callback, send a thank you for calling them, which is exactly what I was alluding to. It's not just a recap of the conversation, but it's a thank you for returning your call. Because frankly, you're going to want appointments that show on time. And if this person's calling you back, you want to let them know that you are paying attention and that you found that very respectful. So it's important to make that effort so that they'll, in return, make the effort with you. So after every single callback, send them that thank you and reference what time maybe they called in. Hey, I know it was your lunch hour, and I know you had just a few minutes, but I really appreciate you calling me back with the VIN number on your vehicle. It's going to help me prep in advance for your visit. I just wanted to send a quick thank you. I really appreciate you returning my call today. Ask yourself this. When's the last time you sent that email? Most likely, and because I travel in dealerships every week, I bet you a lot of you would say, you don't do it. Because it's a lot of emails throughout the day. There's a lot of phone calls that need to be made. But frankly, if we're going to make money on this deal, it's important that this person respects you as a professional, and we got to always look, act, and react like a professional. Point number 4. Use at least 3 elements from your phone conversation in your email response. So I alluded to this earlier, and it's important that you pick at least 3. So when you're getting away from the obvious email templates, point number 1, you're going to start to use some of these elements to personalize all of your email responses. Whether it's the first email, the second email, the third, the fifth, the 7th, the 10th, you're going to want to always make sure that you have something in each one of these follow-up emails that's personal. So I'm going to give you a couple more suggestions here. I know I talk really fast, so I hope you got that pen moving. So 3 elements might be